All right. Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, and welcome to the world's most exciting classroom. My name is Joe Grabowski, and I'll be your host for today. And you can see things are a little bit different today. I'm not in my downstairs office. I am in Rio de Janeiro with the Darwin 200 team, and we are diving today. So we're going to share some excitement from the water. I think the first thing I should do is kind of pan around here and give you guys a feel for where we are in Rio de Janeiro. So just give me one moment while I switch my cameras really quickly. I'm going to let you guys get a feel for where we are on the ocean right now. I'll let you see what's going on. All right, so this should be the back cam now. So here, this Starlink is how I'm connecting with you. So there's no satellite signal, no cell phone out here, but with this Starlink, we can pull down the signal from multiple satellites orbiting around the planet. That's how we're connecting. And if I get up now, you can see over here in the water, there's some divers, some snorkelers in the water. This is a really important sea turtle site. They have resident sea turtle population here. So up to 300 sea turtles live around these islands. So that's what they're in the water for right now, is hoping to see some of those sea turtles. We can pan around a few of these islands. There's Ilhas Cagarras, just over there. On that island in front of me is the largest brown booby colony. And then over here in the distance, you'll see Rio de Janeiro. So that's Sugarloaf Mountain rising in the distance on the right. It might be hard for you to see. On the top of that hill in the middle is Christ the Redeemer, the famous statues, one of the new kind of modern wonders of the world. So just give you guys a feel for where we are. I'm here on the front of the boat. There we go. And you can see I have a guest with me now. Fabien joining me here, nice and while drying off from your dive. How you doing today?
Thank you. It's such a beautiful day here, and we are with our team from Ilhas Cagarras project and Darwin 200, and checking some juveniles, green turtle juveniles that live here in the Cagarras Islands. So we are having a great time. Thank you.
Yeah, and these green sea turtles, they're kind of unique in that they're a resident population, so you see them all the time.
Yeah. It's a kind of a feeding ground for these green turtles, so they are quite small, young ones that like these shelter area. So there's one individual that is living for almost 3 years that we've been monitoring this individual here. So yeah, it's a great place to spot some green turtles.
Yeah, and then what kind of science work is going on? So you're not just going in the water to dive, you're collecting some data and science. Tell us a little bit about what that involves.
Yeah, exactly. So our team goes on the water with some cameras and takes some pictures of these individuals. So they use a photo identification, especially using the patterns from the head. So they know each individuals that they are monitoring during these years. So it's after this, we're gonna do some computer work to learn how to identify these individuals.
Oh, so it's not just all diving all day long. There is some lab and computer work.
Oh yeah, after getting dry, we go to the computer and working behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
And getting all the data.
Yeah. So you've been working with one of our Darwin leaders this week. What have you guys been getting up to?
So we've been discussing especially about these islands that are super close to the main shore. Rio de Janeiro, it's a big metropolitan area. So we've been discussing how these proximity, how these can affect the impact of the islands and the biodiversity. So, and even though these islands are super close to the main shore, they still have like a pretty and very rich biodiversity. So it's very important for us to keep promoting these islands and showing the people that we must take good care of it.
All right, excellent. So we've had the power of the ocean is that we cannot control nature. So we missed a few dives because the swell was a little bit high. Today, the penalty of high swell is a little bit of lower visibility, but it's just great to be out on the water. It's great to get into the water. Yeah, and I think this time of year too, the whales are cruising by. Is that right?
Yeah, actually the whales, the humpback whales usually comes June, July. So at this time of the year, they're coming back from the abroad, the region like Bahia. They're going back to close to Antarctica, and we still can spot
Lee's trying to catch this frigate bird flying over here. It's nice and close, closer than the other ones. So we're trying to get that. So that island, Ilhas Cagarras, has a really cool name. Can you tell us a little bit where that name came from?
Oh yeah, that's. I'm not sure if you can see that island over there. It has some white stripes. It's because of the bird's poop. So the bird's poop, it's not a fancy name. Cagarra. Cagarra means poop. So that's that's the name of the island because there's a big nesting ground for the brown boobies. That's why usually when it rains, so the poops, the bueno comes down and makes these patterns like white stripes. It's beautiful though.
All right. I think I've got a question here in the chat. What did you see underwater today? So it was visibility wasn't great, but did you spot anything today?
Yeah. So close to the rocky shores, I could spot some spawns, some beautiful reddish spawns and sea urchins. But our team is supposed to still diving, so I'm pretty sure they are spotting and monitoring some of these young green turtles.
Yeah, with any luck, we'll have a little bit of footage to share.
Oh yeah,
because we still have one more dive coming up. We're gonna end this call. We're gonna do our second dive when the event wraps up. All right, I see another question here. Oh, have there been any in this area? Is it very well explored? Has there been any new species possibly discovered?
Oh yeah, that's something. That's a good question because every time that we come here every year, we spot something new. So as much as we go down, we still find something new.
Yeah.
So the most like the more we come, the more we find out. So yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, we'll probably come back to you shortly, Aileen. We also have to join us from the Nicaragua Sea Turtle Conservation Project. They'll probably be here in the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. But I thought, while I have my dive gear on deck, I'm going to take you guys to the back of the dive boat and show you what the back of a dive boat looks like. I'll show you how I put my gear together. And then if we have time, we'll come back here for another couple questions. So leave your chat open. Send us some questions in the chat. Let me switch my cam view here. And then we will take a little trip to the front of the boat. Hopefully the satellite signal cooperates. It's not too far, so I think we'll be okay. But let's go ahead and let's do that. All right, here we go. Excuse me. Thank you. No, it's okay. So we're making our way here towards the back of the boat. It's going to be a little louder here. We're closer to the engine. And then I've got my gear set up over here. So I'll show you guys a little bit of the gear. So here is my tank. Very important to compress my air and put it in here for me to take underwater. So this is an aluminum tank. And it can hold, it would be like going into your bathroom and taking all of the air in your bathroom and squeezing, compressing it into this tank. So it gives me a nice amount of water or air to use underwater. Usually lasts about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how hard I'm working on a dive. If I move up here, it's my regulator. So there's 4 hoses here. It changes the flow of the air so that I can breathe it more easily. You can see the timing here, the boat just started moving, so the engine got a little bit louder. But let's take a look. This is my regulator. Turn that around. So this is what I'm using to breathe underwater. I also have a backup regulator here called an octo or an octopus. So it's got a big yellow tube here. And this is important because you always dive with a buddy when you're in the water. So if something happens to my dive buddy's gear, they can take this extra regulator and we can get safely back to the boat together. If we continue moving on, we have my inflator for my BCD. And this fills my BCD with air or empties the air. So I empty the air when I get in the water and I fill it with air when I come back to the top and wait to get back onto the boat. And the final little piece, the 4th hose, on this one, it can be all different things. Sometimes there's compasses, but on this one, there's a pressure gauge that tells me how much air I have. And then there's a depth gauge over here that tells me how deep I am. And then this is called a buoyancy compensating device. This is my BCD. And so it holds everything in place for me. It's like a cool little vest. It inflates and deflates, and that's pretty important. And then a little more gear here. We've got my mask, obviously very important. I've got a weight belt down here with weight that I used to help me sink in the water. And then here I strapped on a dive knife. So I don't have that knife to fight sharks or anything. That's in case I get tangled in fishing line, old fishing nets and things like that. I have a way to cut myself free. So that's just a little glimpse at a dive boat. You can see people moving around, doing things, getting ready for dives. There's still people in the water. In fact, there's someone who just surfaced up over there. And the ladder's going down so they can get back up. And then there we go. I'm going to make our way towards the back. Say hi to Sarah Darwin. Hi, Sarah. Good, good. How was the water?
Perfect temperature.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, very cool. I am. We're going to end this dive or this call. Hope I can hop right in the water as the call's ending. Yeah, very cool. All right. Thanks, Sarah. Okay, let's make our way back up to the front. I'm going to squeeze by. Eileen, I think we have a couple more questions in the chat if you have a minute. All right. Okay. Let's do a quick camera switch here, and then let's get back to a few more questions. Okay. All right. So this is Hilton Ave Public School, and they want to know how many types of sea turtles are there?
So here mostly green turtle, but we can also see the hawkbill turtles.
Yeah.
They're not that common here in the Cagarras Islands, but mostly the green ones. So 2 species.
Okay. And then how many in total globally? So you have 2 here.
In Brazil, we have 5 species,
Yep.
and in the world it's 7.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. Oh, yeah. Questions coming in here. Let's grab another one here. How deep down are we diving today? What's our...
So we're these islands is kind of a shallow area, so it's around 10 to 13 meters.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's like 3 feet.
Okay.
If I did it.
How's it going?
Good, good. I was just saying, we're here on the Atlantic Ocean. You guys are on the Pacific Ocean. It's pretty awesome.
It's amazing, Joe. We can connect like this. So we are in Nicaragua in the county of León and on the Isla Juan Venado Nature Reserve. So more in the northwest coast of Nicaragua.
All right. Well, let's get right to it. I want to hear all about the work you guys are doing.
Okay, great. So we just want to say thanks to the Darwin 200 and of course to you, Joe, for making this all happen. We have our project manager, Martine, with several of our project team members that are going to show us the sea turtle hatchery where we relocate the sea turtle eggs. And then we'll have a few releases to do this morning. So let's let the team take over. Can you hear Martine?
Yeah, Martine, talk nice and loud for us.
Talk nice and loud.
All right, good morning. Good morning, how are you?
We're good,
Good morning,
Martine.
Joe, can you hear us? Okay, so here we are with our team. We have Quina, Anna, Shadi, Belky, and Jenny. So, we're part of the team here at the Sea Turtle program in Nicaragua, and Anna's going to explain real quickly our work that we do here.
Buenos días, saludos. Bueno, pertenecemos al programa FCONC en el cual trabajamos en la protección de la tortuga marina. El trabajo que realizamos es por las noches. Trabajamos a hacer recorridos de 9 kilómetros sobre la playa para esperar a la tortuga madre depositar su huevo. Lo que hacemos...
Okay, so we are Isla Juan Venado Nature Reserve in Eastern Pacific, Nicaragua. And Anna explaining that at night, we walk at night to wait for sea turtles to come up, and we relocate their nest, and we bring them back to the hatchery to safety. And after their time, depends on the species, 45, 55 days, we release them. So we do a little research by, we measure the sea turtle, we weigh the sea turtle, we put all that information. We also here, we do flipper tagging. We flipper tag sea turtles to learn their travels. They come back. So we've been doing the Tiger Sea Tours for 5 years, and we've had out of the 1,200, we've had about like 98 that come back the second and third year. So now we're gonna show you guys the sea turtle hatchery that we have built here, and that's where we bring the nest back to safety. This is the hatchery right here, as you can see in the background. It holds about 120 nests, and we're about to 80 nests right now. 80 nests so far. So we're gonna walk you inside.
And Joe, you can see all the sandbags in front of the hatchery. We just had Tropical Storm Pilar pass over us, and we're expecting more storms. It's the rainy season. So all of those sandbags have been helping protect the hatchery for the past couple of weeks. Of course, we have climate change and sea level rise affecting us as well, but those bags were really to protect from the tropical storm and the swells we were experiencing.
Yeah, did the swell end up getting really high? The bags helped?
The bags helped. The waves did not reach the hatchery, but they definitely helped with the cresting, the top crest of the waves. So Queen is opening up the door to the hatchery, so we're gonna walk into a gridded system that's laid out. As Martine said, we have all of the nests in a checkerboard, I like to describe it, where we put a nest in between each of, like, if you will, it would be on the white square in the checkerboard. So we're alternating. And so Belky's gonna bring us into the hatchery and explain, and Martine will translate some more.
So this is the checkerboard that we set up, and it's by number and letter, and that's how we have a control of the nests that come up. As you can see, only the first 2 rows have hatched. We just started the program this year, and all these other ones over here that you see that they haven't been excavated, we're waiting on time. We're gonna walk you towards the ones that we have excavated. And here you can see, Joe, the ones that we have excavated so far this year. All the ones here to the right are waiting to be done. We've had great success so far. We're about to 80%. It's been raining, so the temperatures had to a little bit of a. Oh, I was stepping on a net. Sorry about that. Has to influence their hatching. Le enseñamos uno. ¿No tiene huevo? ¿No tiene huevo cerquita? So once they reach the 45 days, we begin to check the nest. Belky's going to show us now. This one is not probably ready for the next few days, but we check them and see. So
Belky makes this look easy, but it's really not. It's quite a bit of work, especially when we have so many nests.
They're not ready. Yeah. So if the nest was ready, guys, we should have seen some come up, but it's not ready. So we cover it back up and wait to we see some babies coming up. But we have some hatchlings from this morning, and we're gonna now take you outside the hatchery and release them. We have
All right,
we have 4 species of sea turtles come to this area. We're very lucky. We have the olive ridley, hawksbill, eastern Pacific green, and leatherback. This year we've had a good year. So far we have 3 species. We're only missing the leatherback. So we have the most predominant one is the olive ridley, but we have 10 eastern Pacific greens and 3 hawksbills, which is amazing. We haven't had them in 4 years. So we're waiting for leatherback to come up, and they start coming up right now in November through December.
To any of the classrooms tuning in right now, if you want to pop a question or two in the live chat for our team there as they're releasing the sea turtles, please go ahead.
So we've got low tide, so it's a little bit more of a walk than we're used to, Joe.
No birds. We checked for birds, so we don't have any birds this morning. It's a good sign.
The olive ridleys. There they go.
I never get tired of watching this. This must be so rewarding.
Yeah, Joe, I know I mentioned Tropical Storm Pilar earlier, and while we don't know exactly what Mother Nature has in store for us all the time, we do think that some of the cooler temperatures, and we just had so much rain during that storm as it just sat over us here, that it may have influenced the normal incubation period, but at least we got some happy, healthy little ones ready to hit the surf.
Oh, yeah, there we go. These, I think you said these are olive ridleys. How big do they get?
Can you say that again?
Yeah, I think you said these are olive ridleys. How big do they get when they grow up?
He's asking, how big do the olive ridleys get? Belky, ¿cuántos libros hay en las tortugas aquí de Paslama? Más o menos. We're getting the average for our nesting beach.
Average of 98 pounds.
Libros.
75 centimeters wide.
No, peso. So 78 pounds. They're one of the smaller species, but I just want to show that these ladies really do a lot of the science. So they measure the length of the mama and the width of the mama and also how much she weighs. So typical of most olive ridleys, but that's what we're finding here on our beach.